Well, I got my tire fixed. I didn't get much footage while he was here doing it. I do have footage. I don't know how it's, from what I've previewed of it, it should be alright. But it's going to be different. I got a time lapse. First one I've ever did, so not sure just what all it looks like. You know, the problem is I see so far there's no sound. But I'm not going to take time to figure out how to dub music over it or voice over anything. But I have the footage of changing the tire, pretty much the whole process. Fairly decent angle of it, so it should be pretty well easy to view. But I just go over. I had to put a new tube in this tire. This tire is loaded with water with calcium chloride in it. And the purpose of that is extra weight for extra traction. And one problem when you're running calcium chloride or liquid in a tire is any hole in a tube, the tube has to be replaced. You cannot patch a tube that has fluid in it. Now, I just had air in this tire. They would have been able to patch it, put the tube back in, because there was a hole in it, no bigger than the tip of a pen. You know, it was just a small little hole, just enough to bubble through. And so a whole new tube had to be put in. And one reason why we use calcium chloride, it's one of the, yeah, it's a preference basically. Being up here in the snow belt, you got to have something in the tire that doesn't freeze. And we put the calcium chloride in with the water. It adds more weight and it keeps it from freezing. So you can run it year round. If we had just water, if you're down south, you could just run water in the tires, no problem. You know, people have run windshield washer fluid in there, but this tire holds 86 gallon. If you fill it up full to the top of the rim here, you know, that's a lot of windshield washer fluid. Another alternative is beet juice. It's not supposed to ruin the rims. And it's, yeah, like I say, it is hurting the rim. This is starting to fit out. He put some grease stuff on it. But, yeah, it does rust it out. But you got to keep in mind, this tractor we bought in '87. It was brand new in the '84 model. So this thing's pushing 40 years old and it's still the same rim on there. So I mean, yeah, it's eventually going to rust it out. It all just depends because, like I say, with the beet juice, you wouldn't need to have a tube. It's pretty much recommended to run a tube. And they do say that you can run calcium chloride directly in a tire without a tube. The only thing is you have to have the tire filled up to like in here, so the rim is completely submerged all the time. It's like fire. To have fire, you need fuel, heat, and oxygen for it to burn. And the same way with rust, you need basically, say, a fuel source, which would be the metal. And I don't know how you want to say a heat source or a caustic source, the calcium chloride, and you need oxygen. And as long as there's no oxygen touching inside this rim, they say that it won't rust. But safest thing to do is to put a tube in there. And like I say, I did a time lapse, and it goes through the whole process. You know, a lot of it is, and I cut it a little bit short. I didn't go through the whole process because at the beginning there, what he has to do is he has to pump the calcium out of the tire, and he's pumping it into a drum. And then he has to break the bead, which is basically get a pry bar in behind here, and he's got a tool that goes in and it pushes the center of the tire in to push it off the bead. And he's got to bar the tire off, shift it out, pull the tube out, put the new tube in, air it up, get the bead reseated. Then he's got to let the air out and pump the calcium back in and repump it. And I cut it short. You know, he's pumping the calcium in, and there ain't nothing more you're going to see really. But I wish he had left this thing aired up so I could show where the hole was. I mean, it was just a little pinprick. I say, if somebody was desperate, I don't know if we could reuse this in a tire just for air, patch that hole. But that's the thing, if you patch it with fluid in it, the way the fluid rolls in there, it flexes the tubes different, it will shred that patch off of it eventually. So the only option was to put a new tube in it. I mean, it ain't bad. I mean, this time lapse, it's over an hour, maybe close to an hour and a half. Of course, I stood here and talked to him a little bit too. But, you know, $210 to change that tire, and I don't know if he broke it down the price of tube and labor. It was $210 total. I think the tube is close to $100. But, so, that's just a little bit on that. And like I said, I'll post that at the end here. And then I'll save the story on this bearing for another video. I am totally pissed off about this again. So I ended up canceling that order because now it looks like I might not get it till Tuesday. I did something else, did what I should have done in the first place, and there's a chance I have it tomorrow, even though it still does me no good because I got other things planned for tomorrow. But if the weather holds, I can get it together. Maybe Sunday I can bail, but they couldn't guarantee me it tomorrow. But I did get confirmation on the order and shipped. So there's a good chance I should have it tomorrow because it's not coming from very, very far. So I guess this is going to be how they change these rear tractor tires. So thanks for watching and enjoy.